for today. I can solve and graph one variable inequalities. Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3.
I can solve and graph one variable inequality.
So we're starting with a new concept today. Tell your neighbor the new concept, please.
I can solve and graph one variable inequality.
Very good. That's the objective, and I said tell your neighbor the concept. One variable inequalities. That's the concept, right? We already finished equations. We finished expressions at the beginning of the year. Now we're continuing with inequalities. So, inequalities. Definition. Mathematical statements where two expressions are not equal to each other and contain one unknown variable. Copy these examples down, please. We got x plus 2 less than 25, 12 greater than y minus 8, 2a less than or equal to 14, negative 3 greater than or equal to m over 4. Then we got 3x plus 2 greater than or equal to 25, 12 less than 4y minus 8, 2a plus 8 less than or equal to 14, and negative 3 greater than m over 4 minus 6. Yeah. Yep, 23rd. Here it goes. Writing utensils down. Now, things to point out from the definition. Here it goes. It says, expressions. That's the first thing that caught our attention. The second thing is not equal to each other. Also, one unknown variable. Okay? It's very similar to when we cover equations. Is that correct? But for equations it said expressions equal to each other. This one says not equal. So let's see. I'm going to be very obvious just to make sure that we understand what we're looking at. Here's an expression, and here's a symbol that says not equal to one another, and it has one variable. You agree with that so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, let's see this one down here. Expression, a symbol that says that they're not equal, and a one variable. Yes? And I'll select another one. How about this one right here? Let's see. Expression, symbol says not equal, and only one variable. So far so good? Yes.
Is this the one where you do like two-step equations and then you just bring the not less than or greater than symbol down and you swap that?
Kinda.
Okay.
Today we're going to clarify graphing.
Okay.
Why? Because some of you who struggled in the past with inequalities, as soon as they flipped the inequality or the graph or the symbol. Today we're going to clarify and make sure that you understand what you're talking about when you write your solution set. So with that said, these are examples. Let me show you some non-examples. Copy these down, please. For non-examples, we have x plus 5 minus 25, 12 equals x minus 8, x squared plus 5 greater than 30, and 4x plus 6 less than or equal to negative 2y. Copy those, and as you're copying them, think about why these are not one variable inequalities. We just covered why they were according to the definition. Copy those, please. Let's see. Help us out with these first two. Volunteer. Andrea. Why is this not a one variable? It's an expression. This one does not have any symbols such as equal or inequality. This is just a plain expression. Very good. Pass this one to someone. Isaac, this one.
It doesn't have an inequality.
It doesn't have an inequality symbol, but what does it have? So do these. What is this called? It's true, it doesn't.
That's an expression? No.
This is an expression. Everyone help him out. This is an, because it has an equal sign. Very good. Now, look at this one right here. Alyssa. Why is this a non-example?
Oh my god, I know.
Okay, Marissa. Be nice. The squared. That is correct. Now, it is it is a one variable inequality. However, this one has an exponent of 2. This is called a quadratic inequality. Right now we're not looking at quadratics. We're looking at just linear inequalities. Okay? And the last one. Yes, Julia?
Because it has more than one variable.
It has more than one variable. That is correct. So critical attributes for one variable inequalities is that they have inequality signs, one unknown variable, and no exponents greater than 1 on the variable. Have inequality signs, one unknown variable, and no exponents greater than 1 on the variable. Okay? So steps. If you notice, did everybody copy that already?
No.
Okay, I'll give you some time to copy.
Yeah, I got
Wait,
it.
about this? Okay, I get it.
Steps. If you notice, the steps are the same as when we solve equations. Simplify, isolate, plot, and check. So circle those words, please, just to make sure that that you got the steps and you remember the steps. But like I said, today's lesson is basically just an introduction to graphing, and I just want to make sure we clarify and we understand what we're looking at. Because maybe in the past they didn't give us the whole definitions. They gave us how to graph. They gave us inequalities, and we know how to graph, most of us. So today's going to be the day to clarify stuff. So before we get started with all that, an introduction that I did when we did equations was using the scale. Remember that? Yes, and I said whenever it was balanced, it was an equation. But as soon as we add weight to one side and it drops, there we can actually compare numbers, 8 to 0. And I said the original spot was right here, so therefore the inequality symbol should point that way. Remember that?
Yeah.
But as soon as we want to make it an equation, we just add weight to this side and it becomes balanced. Remember that? But if I add weight to this side, therefore I have two numbers again, 8 and 11. And to compare that, once again, what was the original spot? Right there. So therefore the arrow is pointing that way. Does everybody see the arrow here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just in case you don't see it, here it goes. Let me show you. Let me get a little bit more obvious. Do you see it now? You sure? All right. Let me go back to the previous one. Do you see this one? You sure? All right. I'm just trying, like I said, I'm trying to be as obvious as possible so that you guys can see it. Because we're going to use this idea, pay attention please, this idea of inequalities using the scale in order to graph our inequalities. Okay? Right now we're going to go backwards. I'm going to give you a graph and we're going to write our inequality. But there's certain parts that I want to clarify from there. Okay? Before that, I want you to write on the Q side, on the Q column, write this down please. Don't write this. I want you to write the symbol less than. And then you're going to write an example, A is less than B, and in words it says A is less than B. The symbol greater than, and then you're going to write A is greater than B, and in words it says A is greater than B. Next one, less than or equal to. Example, A less than or equal to B, and in words it says A is less than or equal to B. Next one, greater than or equal to. And then an example, A is greater than or equal to B, and words A is greater than or equal to B. And then the last one that we've already been using is not equal to. Remember that when we got to no solutions, we use this symbol? A is not equal to B, A is not equal to B. Copy those, please. All right, here we go. So, the other symbol that we've been using now for a while is the inequality set. The solution set, right? We're going to continue using it specifically for today, but today we're going to write words inside the solution set because I want you to understand what it means. Okay? So with that said, it takes us to this. So here we go. Pay attention, please. Pens down, eyes up here. I'm going to go ahead, let's see, let me do some illusion here. Let's see. Bam.
No more magic. Oh.
Okay, so check this out. So here's an inequality. Okay, this represents an inequality, but I want to make sure that you understand what we're looking at. First thing to point out here is that I want you to understand the name of the number where the inequality begins. First of all, who sees that this side of this number 5 is shaded in red? Everybody sees that, right? That tells me that this is included in the inequality. The arrow indicates that it continues going in that direction. So, since this is included and this is not included, notice that this is not shaded in red. Therefore, that's why this number right here, this number is called the dividing point. Why would they call that? Think about it. Here's a number line. Here's this point, and it's called the dividing point. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? Why? Because it divides the number line into two sections. Solutions and no solutions. And you're saying, really? Well, yeah. You see how this is not included? Yeah. So there's no gray area about it. Yes?
Why is it 0 and 5 not shaded?
We'll get to that point. Yes.
Like, so you're saying like X would be any of those numbers?
Very good. So that's why when you wrote inequalities given a graph, now you understand why, because certain numbers are included in that inequality. Does that make sense? Label your number line, please, using that really quick so I can continue. What's that?
Where do we write the number line?
It's on your, the very first number line, write solutions, no solutions, and dividing point. If you want to write that one on top, that's fine. Do that, please. Copy that now. All right, here we go. So pens down, eyes up here. So now that we have a name for this number, that number is called the dividing point. I'm going to write that one first, and that always goes on the right of my inequality. The other numbers are going to be represented by a variable. Why? Because it's kind of like me saying, all these numbers are included in the inequality. So which numbers do you see? 4, 3, 2, but does it mean only those? No, what if I said negative 23? Yes, because the arrow points that way. How about 0.99999999999? Yes, because it's very close to 1. How about 2.999999999999999, and so on and so forth, right? You guys get the point. Get it? Point. Never mind. All right, so with that said, so if I was to say, I'm going to guess from all these numbers, 10 numbers in a row, if I was to pick each one, if I was to say, pick a number, so you pick a number, don't say it out loud, and I said, I'm going to pick 10 people, and you can choose anywhere from here all the way to negative infinity, a number that you want. Do you think I would be able to pick 10 people and I would guess all 10 numbers in a row?
Yeah.
No.
No, because you have an infinite number of choices. So therefore, since I will not know what that number is, that's why I'm labeling it X, because it could be any of those numbers. Are we there so far? Now, this is how we write our inequality, and this is how we understand what we're writing. I'm going to write the dividing point again, and I'm going to choose any of these numbers in the solution set to compare it to that in order for me to write my symbol. Here we go. Which number would you like to choose? I usually try and choose the one immediately after the dividing point. What is that number? 4. So now, think about the scale. The scale was originally even like this. But now comparing these two on the scale, which one is heavier? 5. It drops, therefore the arrow points that way.
Wow.
Everybody with me? So, yes.
So you're saying if it was like, if it was 6 and the arrow is pointing this way, would X be greater than...
Hold on. That's why I don't want you to think about arrow pointing either way. I want you to think about the dividing point and comparing it to one of the solutions, numbers in the solution set. I want you to get away from the direction. Some of you Last year, use your, as a life-saving mechanism, you said, oh, it's going that direction, so I'm going to change it like this or change it. No. I want you to understand what it means. Does that make sense? Copy that, and copy this one on the box. Let me go back to the original. Let's copy it here. X, dividing point is 5, and it's pointing that way. This is what it means in words. Let me zoom in. It means all real numbers less than 5. Okay? So with that said, let's go over this one. What is my dividing point? Negative 1. And these represent x. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's find out the arrow. Watch. Pens down, please. I'm going to start with my dividing point. And I said the dividing point, always write it on the right. Pick any of these numbers. Which is close by? 0. But I'm going to choose a bigger number so that you guys can actually see it. I'm going to choose 2. So, the scale is right here. Which is heavier? 2. And if you're saying, what does that mean, Mr. Q? Yeah, if I'm comparing two numbers on the number line, this one and this one, the one farthest to the right is always heavier or is always greater than the other. So if that one's heavier, look, it's pointing in that direction. So what does that mean? All real numbers greater than negative 1. Okay? So let's go with this one. What is my dividing point?
1.5.
1/2 and x. So I'm going to write my dividing point first. Pick any number over here. I'm going to pick 0. Here's my scale. There's nothing here, so there's something over here. So therefore the arrow's pointing that way. However, look up please. This is where some of you asked the question earlier. Look up please. Watch. Who noticed that this one does not have the point filled in? What this is saying, everybody look up please, that all these are a solution to this inequality, except that one. Let me show you why. Watch. If I was to substitute 5 in here, is 5 less than 5? No, it doesn't make it true. That's why they exclude it. Look at this one. Which one is excluded here? Negative 1. Is negative 1 greater than negative 1? No. So what do you think this means?
Equal to or less than.
Yeah.
That it's equal, or that it is included. That's why you write your equal sign on that one. So if that's true, what does it mean in words? All real numbers less than or equal to 1/2. I'm going to write it like that because it's not fitting. So with that said, I want you to write the inequality for this graph. Remember, start with your dividing point, then choose a number that you can test. So my dividing point was what? 0. So here's 0. Which number did you test? 3. Okay, I'm going to put 3. So which one of these is heavier? The 3. So therefore the arrow is pointing that way. However, does it include 0? Yes, so it's equal to. So therefore all real numbers greater than or equal to 0. So right now we did from graph to inequality. Now we're going from inequality to graph. But before that, pay attention please, look up. Who noticed here, look up please. By looking now at the inequality, we know what the number is called. What is this number called? dividing point, dividing point, dividing point, dividing point. Are we there so far? So watch. Copy this one in the back, please. Example 1. Okay, thank you. All right. So on this one, they're asking us to graph. So you get your graph, number line, there it is. You start off by writing 0. Okay. However, now we're going to place our, what is this called again? Dividing point. So where is that one? Let's see, here's 1, here's 2. The dividing point is about right here. Is that correct?
Yes.
But look at the inequality symbol. Is it going to be an open or closed point? Closed, because it includes it. All right. And this is how you know how to graph. Here it goes. You point to the variable and ask the question. What number can I substitute in here that would make this true? So think about it. You have two options, 0 or 1. I'm going to substitute 1. Is 1 greater than 3/4?
Yes.
If it is true, then you shade everything in that direction. But why? Because the number line is divided into 2 sections. What sections are they? Solutions and no solutions. So this is how you write your answer. All real numbers greater than or equal to 3/4. Okay, your homework is a worksheet is over here in the front. Worksheet 3-1. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your homework. See you guys tomorrow.